O'Reilly speaks his mind, and it's paid off. He has the top-rated talk show on cable, and he has written 4 best-selling books on politics and culture. Every single one of them has hit #1 on the New York Times bestseller list. His latest book is called Culture Warrior, and it may be the most pointed of them all. Bill O'Reilly, good morning.
Hi, Hannah. How you doing?
Good. Congratulations on your latest book success. Let's talk a little bit about the news of the day, as tomorrow the Iraq Study Group comes out with its recommendations. What do you expect to hear?
You know, it's going to be negotiate, get the people together at the table, and realign the troops. The realignment of the troops will happen. The Bush administration has to pull back from Anbar and a few other places where it's impossible unless you want to get in there and do a scorched earth, which the USA is not going to do. And on the negotiation front, sure, try it. But if people think that Iran's going to help us out, I mean, they're living in the land of Oz. They're not.
Should the president follow the recommendations?
He's the commander-in-chief. I mean, I'm going to give him that privilege. So far, things have not gone well. So I think President Bush knows that changes need to be made.
Because he has said that our troops will stay there, he said last week, as long as the Iraqis want them there. But yet, if we see these recommendations come out, there want to be a pullout of troops, as David Martin reported. You know,
is there going
to be a conflict? Do you think that?
Well, you know, there's going to be some realignment, and that means there'll be some troops shifted around. I think some will come home, and I think that's the right thing to do. But remember, this is a very complicated issue, and America has interest there because Iran wants to dominate the region. And if we pull out of there, Iran's going to move in. Al-Qaeda's in the Anbar. So, I mean, people who say, well, the whole solution is just getting out are insane. We're going to have to fight these Iranians one way or the other, and it's just a matter of keeping the thing contained so it doesn't get into, you know, something that makes the Iraq situation now look like Rebecca of Sunnybrook Farm. Because these are bad people, and I don't know if Americans understand how bad they are.
A couple of other things in the news, and let's move to Capitol Hill a little bit. The resignation of UN Ambassador John Bolton. What does that tell you about how the landscape has changed?
You know, it's a political thing. Democrats have power. They want their guy in, so Bolton's out, and that's just as simple as that. I think Bolton did a decent job.
And any question Gates gets confirmed?
No, he gets confirmed because they don't like Rumsfeld, and what are they going to do? So, you know, he'll be in there.
We see Senator Clinton touching base with some of the top Democratic leaders here in New York. Barack Obama is shaping up as maybe
He's an interesting guy, Obama.
Big rival. Do you think either of them can win the presidency?
Well, here's what impressed me. He's beaten me on the bestseller list.
Yeah,
that's what impresses me.
All right.
So he's got a following.
So maybe it's O'Reilly and
it's Obama. O'Reilly and John Grisham.
Yeah, maybe that's what we're seeing here.
But Obama has got a following, which I wasn't so aware of. And he's hanging around New Hampshire. And I don't think he's skiing up there.
Right.
So it's not going to be as easy for Mrs. Clinton as I think she thought it would be.
And speaking of your book, and we should talk about that, you talk about the culture war, which is a battle between traditionalists, you say, like yourself, people who think this country is a good place, and the people that you call the secular progressives.
Right.
Who are they?
Secular progressives think America is deeply flawed. For example, that it's our fault a lot of the terrorism happens in the world because our corporations are corrupt and exploitative. We're mean. America's mean. We need a big overhaul in every area. Those are secular progressives. ACLU is their vanguard, their shock troops. George Soros and the big billionaires fund them. Hollywood left is in on that. And they're the people that want dramatic change. And traditionalists say, yeah, we have flaws in this country and we have to be better. But fundamentally, the United States is a noble nation. Noble. And that's the culture war between those two groups. And it's vicious. It is vicious.
And how do you see that war playing out over the next 2 years?
Well, it's going to impact the presidential election because traditionalists, according to the latest Rasmussen poll, outnumber SPs, secular progressives, 3-1. And the Republican Party's got to wise up, and they've got to start to get these traditionalists mobilized on their side. And the moderate Democrats like Lieberman and Bayh and these people, they have to say, look, if we're going to ally ourselves with Howard Dean and the far left, we're going to lose. So a lot of the culture war is going to bleed over into the next presidential race.
And who's the best person for the Republicans to put forward? We got McCain, Giuliani.
No idea. I don't do the politic thing. You know, I think all of these guys have to be watched. I think your job and my job is to watch all of these scoundrels.
Is there a nexus with the war on terror here, the culture war?
Of course. I mean, if you have the ACLU objecting to every single anti-terror measure the Bush administration has put into place, Every single one. Do you want those people standing between Al-Qaeda and your family? You want the ACLU standing between them? Not me.
We're going to have to leave it at that. Bill
Read
O'Reilly.
Culture Warrior, and you'll find out the story.
Thanks, Bill
All right,
O'Reilly.
Hannah, always a pleasure.
You can read excerpts from Culture Warrior by going to our website at cbsnews.com.